Of all the various pillars of transport, be it inland, maritime, or air, the air transport industry is one of the most intriguing and the highly lucrative sectors of the global economy. The aviation system as a whole is a well-thought-out system that requires a high level of critical thinking and execution. The aviation sector is growing fast, and the future of aviation is a bright one. Also, flight operators are constantly seeking unique ways to make their particular service capture the eye of the consumer in the battle for airlines to stand out from the crowd. This can be accomplished by delivering suitable service for every type of passenger, and Ethiopian Airlines is one of the few airlines that has consistently delivered. Ethiopian Airlines has grown over the years to become Africa's largest airline, with 19 million total seats in 2019. In 2018, the carrier was named the leading airline operating in sub-Saharan Africa by passenger capacity, surpassing Emirates. It is also Africa's most profitable airline, and this is a remarkable achievement for the airline, considering the fact that prominent brands on the continent, including South African Airways and Kenya Airlines, are losing money for various reasons. What's more impressive is that, despite its financial success, Ethiopian Airlines is pursuing a cost-cutting program that aims to save between 10% and 20% per year. It has risen faster than the rest of Africa's top 10 airlines combined in recent years as Africa's largest airline. This raises the question of what the airline is doing right and other African airlines aren't. We'll look at some of the strategies that have contributed to the airline's success and expansion in today's video. Welcome to ThinkRich Africa, the community which brings to you entrepreneurial, business, and personal development content to inform, motivate, and inspire you. We also want to introduce you to our special African development playlist because we strongly believe entrepreneurship, rather than global pity, is the key to Africa's growth and development. So if you're African and you aren't subscribed to our community, you're missing out. Ethiopian Airlines, founded 75 years ago in 1945, is wholly owned by the country's government and began operations in 1946. It began international flights in 1951 and is now Africa's largest airline by passenger carried, destinations served, fleet size, and revenue. Additionally, it is the world's fourth largest airline in terms of destinations served. In fact, Ethiopian Airlines achieved its Vision 2025 targets in 2018 and is now working toward realizing its Vision 2035. When the pandemic hit in late 2018, Ethiopian Airlines had 26.8 million seats in its fleet. This incredible number is more than double that of Egyptia, the continent's second-largest carrier, despite the fact that it has not been privatized and is completely owned by the government. Ethiopian Airlines' success can be ascribed to two main factors. Firstly, it is the airline's transparency of vision and independence from the government in day-to-day operations. Although Ethiopia's government owns the entire airline, it is allowed to operate commercially. This implies they've been offering services to clients regardless of government rules or levies that could restrain their expansion, even during times of major domestic unrest. This type of structure has allowed the airline to thrive without relying on government assistance, and the Ethiopian government has gained international recognition for maintaining such a well-managed airline as a result of this choice. It was described as a capitalist win in Marxist Ethiopia by the Christian Science Monitor in 1988. This is not far from the truth, because despite the Ethiopian People's Revolutionary Democratic Front's violent overthrow of the communist government in 1991, the airline profited the following fiscal year, and the airline also ran smoothly and profitably during the fiscal year, despite the difficulties created by the Eritrean-Ethiopian War. Ethiopian Airlines has stayed steadfast and focused in the midst of national difficulties and obstacles, and they are now reaping the rewards of their hard work and perseverance. Unlike many African state-owned airlines which are poorly managed, with nepotism in personnel recruiting and commercial choices based on political considerations, the Ethiopian Airlines have been excellently managed over the years, and they continue to be a professionally run and well-managed institution. Despite being state-owned, Ethiopian Airlines has operated like a commercial enterprise on a day-to-day basis, with competent leadership and well-trained workers. To put things in perspective, we can say that Ethiopian is owned by the government, but its operations are run like any other corporation. Between 2011 and 2019, Ethiopian Airlines' growth increased, more than doubling in size. The airline added approximately 15 million seats during this era of expansion, which is more than 5 million more than the next 5 airlines on the list of Africa's top 10 airlines. By observing this massive increase, it is evident that the airlines have prioritized service expansion. When contrasted to South African Airways, it is evident that this airline suffered tremendous obstacles and saw little overall growth, whereas Ethiopian Airlines thrived. Even with the present epidemic wreaking havoc on the airline industry, Ethiopian Airlines has been tremendously effective in increasing its position. As a result of the pandemic, airlines have been forced to lay off employees. One example is South African Airways, which reduced its workforce from 5,000 to 1,000 employees, and Kenya Airways, which has been struggling with its balance sheet and is laying off staff in stages, with approximately 700 of the 1,500 employees receiving redundancy letters. The Ethiopian Airlines, on the other hand, was putting employees on mandatory leave in reaction to the destruction caused by the coronavirus outbreak. Airlines employees were supposed to take a 3-month unpaid leave of absence until the situation calmed down. Consequently, the airline handled the situation without the need for government bailouts or pay cuts. While other airlines were forced to curtail or discontinue operations, Ethiopian Airlines continued exporting agricultural supplies and equipment to numerous countries. With the rest of the globe on lockdown, medical and food supplies became critical. The airline made strategic adjustments and was able to avert financial catastrophe by switching to cargo transport, since the airline was able to keep half of its earnings while 90% of its passenger fleet was grounded. According to sources, during the epidemic, Ethiopian Airlines rapidly increased its cargo market footprint, presently operating more than 70 cargo routes, up from 10 at the start of 2020. The airline took advantage of the rapidly increasing need for medical supply transportation and has established itself as an important transporter of medical supplies in Africa, and cargo demand may be what allows it to make up for lost passenger revenue. Ethiopia's geographical position is the second main factor contributing to Ethiopian Airlines' success. Ethiopian Airlines is a well-coordinated hub carrier that takes advantage of its regional location to serve developing and growing markets. Ethiopia's geographic location has aided in the country's development as an aviation hub connecting Africa, the Middle East, Asia, and Europe. As a result, there are 2 natural waves of international flights per day, each with drastically different flight paths. Addis Ababa has recently developed into a hub, allowing it to attract and move a greater volume of traffic, mainly from Asia to the American continents. In addition, Addis Ababa is building Africa's largest airport. Ethiopian Airlines is investing an estimated $5 billion in the port, which has the potential to become Africa's largest airport, capable of processing more people than Johannesburg, South Africa's current biggest hub. The move comes as its existing base, Addis Ababa Bole International Airport, struggles to keep up with the rapidly expanding capacity. Bole handled fewer than 1 million travelers every year less than a decade ago. However, Ethiopian's success has aided in the increase in passenger traffic at the airport. In 2014, it increased to 7 million people. According to many reports, passenger numbers are predicted to continue to rise at a rate of roughly 18% every year. The new airport will be 35 square kilometers in size. The airport is expected to be built in Bishoftu, a hamlet 39 kilometers southeast of Addis Ababa, and will have a capacity of 100 million passengers per year, according to reports. The new airport's construction was slated to begin in the second half of 2020. However, that decision was made before the worldwide aviation sector was hit by the coronavirus pandemic. The carrier has successfully completed a new passenger terminal at its hub, Addis Ababa Bole International Airport. The new terminal, developed by Ethiopian, has a check-in hall with 60 check-in counters, 30 self-check-in kiosks, 10 self-bag drop, 16 immigration counters with more e-gate provisions, 16 central security screening areas for departing passengers are the new faces of the airport. Also, 3 new contact gates have been developed for wide-body aircraft and 10 new remote contact gates with people mover, travelator, escalator, and panoramic lifts. The new terminal has 32 arrival immigration counters with 8 e-gate provisions. Obtaining landing privileges at Addis Ababa is exceedingly tough for a foreign airline. Other carriers flying to other domestic areas within the country are similarly highly regulated and limited by the government. It's worth noting that Ethiopian Airlines has made significant investments in modernizing its fleet, which is now the continent's youngest. Ethiopian Airlines has a diverse fleet of 128 aircraft and assets, which comprises a wide spectrum of aircraft. Apart from that, it has placed 41 further orders for B737 MAX, A350-900, B787-900, and -8-400s. -8 and 400 aircraft are frequently used on domestic flights. Other airline hubs are increasingly using them, exhibiting the convenience they give. The airline's operations will benefit from the new aircraft fleet, but there will be little adjustments. The complexity of their fleet changes dramatically depending on the level of demand on their routes. Ethiopian Airlines is not just another success story. It is a one-of-a-kind example of how a state-owned enterprise should be run in the modern day. The airline has shown the proper mix of dedication, business structure, and government assistance, all while maintaining a high level of efficiency. Ethiopian Airlines' enormous success can be attributed to the Ethiopian government's strong defense of its own airline. While Ethiopian Airlines' success is mostly due to their efforts, there aren't enough qualified competitors to give them with the required competition. Some of the elements that have helped to Ethiopian Airlines' ever-expanding and successful concept include managing their aviation academy, catering unit, and providing maintenance and training for pilots, cabin crew, and technical employees. Other airlines in the region include Egypt Air, Air Côte d'Ivoire, and Rwandair, among others, but they are not yet at the level where they can deliver like Ethiopian Airlines. Ethiopian Airlines, for their part, takes a strict stance to keep competitors at bay. Because they have the highest level of customer satisfaction, no other airline can enter their market. With the rate at which Ethiopian Airlines is expanding, it will not be long before it is ranked among the best airlines in the world, not just in Africa. They've gotten this far thanks to a lot of strategic planning and airline management. Let's see how far this fantastic airline can go in the coming years. Thank you for watching. If there are any tips you think should be on this video, but if not, leave a comment and let us know. Help our channel grow. We hope this video has been helpful to you. Support us by liking the video, subscribing and turning on your notifications.